this out on 2 channels. So
Now we're
trying to
good.
get the other channel. All right, we're out on that one.
Yep.
Oh man.
I'm exhausted now.
Me too.
It took everything that I had left, I think.
Can we do a girl-defined video tonight?
What even is that?
Oh, you didn't watch my... Have you not watched my video, Bethany's list for the perfect husband?
I don't think so.
These are like the cringiest people ever. We'll we'll get into it.
Is that the take Jesus to bed one?
No, that was Emma Ray. She was, oh my God, she was amazing. That video though actually is doing like fucking. Let me pull up my phone. Dr. Zayas writes, "Save Ad+Homos."
we have some unsettling news.
Owen, why are you? Owen, why are you deleting? Are you deleting by accident?
Who?
Some of these messages are fine.
You talking to me?
No, I was talking to one of my
Mods.
yeah.
Excellent.
I don't.
I'm
know
not
why.
eating pineapple pizza, by the way. That's communist. I don't support it.
I'm not worried about. Maybe they're doing something else. For the moment, I'm gonna unhide. Oh, I can only unhide users. I can't unhide. I was fine with save Ad+Homos. That's fine by me.
Oh yeah, that's actually funny. We actually joked about that. We called ourselves that before or when we were setting this thing up. Ad+Homos is funny.
Oh, sorry. Okay. So Ravencroft, Owen was hitting the wrong buttons there. No worries. You are unhidden though, and Dr. Zayas, you are welcome to once again say, "Save Ad+Homos." Your wish is my command, Brian.
Saturday success.
What is...
Oh, it's really difficult to try to shift your mind from
what just happened?
From what just happened to this.
Yeah.
No, think club. This is not a heated debate. You just missed that. But I did get your. By the way, I did get your email, and I'm working on that.
I wouldn't promise that there won't be a heated debate. You and I often have heated debates on here.
Oh yeah, just not yet.
Yeah.
We've got to get through the bullshit pleasantries where it's like, oh hey Jimmy, hey what's been going on? Oh, it's been great. Life's been just fucking great. It's good. Everything's good. There's nothing to see here. Nothing going on. Nothing bad. Nothing aggravating. No dummies that are coming on saying that gravity doesn't exist. No, none of that exists. None of it.
Don't you know about the law of down?
Oh,
do you not? The law of down.
Listen, did you know that there exists underground a secret ocean?
By the way, I did know that. So I have, my grandfather has passed, but he believed in he somehow believed in the secret ocean, and he believed in a hollow earth as well.
Well, I'd like to. We'll get into this a little bit more, but I just want to give you the kind of the.
Sorry, everybody. I apparently set that to trigger back to its. I apparently set that to just replay when it was done. Sorry, my bad, everybody.
We're professionals here. Let's just do the fucking thing.
Let's just do it. And for the very last time, maybe, let's see this thing. And there's no audio. Or do you hear audio? Oh, there is audio.
Usually I'm all smiles and cheery and all that, but it's going to be very difficult to do because I'd like to give you a taste of what I just went through for 6 hours almost 6 hours.
Mm-hmm.
First, I had a guy that rattled off every other big word in the science book that you could ever think to try to just butcher. I understood nothing of what he was saying, but it came down to he believes in the donut Earth theory, and he can give you every quantum law and rule for why that works. Seriously, cool thing about him though is that he grows marijuana. He is a marijuana producer, and I think he's just been smoking way too much of his product. But that was one. That was round one.
I think we have to we teased everybody, and I think we have to clarify what's happening real quick and then keep talking about this. Because Zero, for example, already asked, is the show really canceled? Yes, Ad+Homies is canceled, but basically we realized that people weren't really coming as much we were putting work into finding videos to review, and then it was people were coming to watch Kyle and I bicker or just our general back and forth. They like you and I when we agree or when we disagree for whatever. So Ad+Homies as
I disagree with that.
True. Ad+Homies, but I agree with it. Ad+Homies as a thing is over, but we will still be getting together on Saturday nights, maybe Friday nights if Friday's less busy than our Saturdays. It takes off a lot of pressure.
Yeah, we were getting to the videos like late in the show. We were only spending like maybe 5 minutes on the videos and rushing through them, and it got in the way. So I think we will basically what we want to do is just kind of come here. Most of the time unprepared, like usual, and we're just going to talk about what happened during the week and go off from there. We never have usually an issue with going. Jimmy's all the time ranting off about some SJW thing, and
that's true.
That gives me so much fuel to.
Yeah.
But anyways, so yes, we're not leaving you guys. We're still going to be here, but just not with the videos of rednecks and.
I discovered that everyone who thinks they're not racist is racist, and everyone who thinks they are racist, it turns out, are the only ones who aren't racist. I'm just kidding. But doesn't that sound like the premise of like the worst kind of like way farther left and more SJW than me kind of video?
Yes. It sounds like one of James Lindsay's hoax papers that he wrote.
Yeah.
Sounds exactly like along the lines of that. But yeah, just to close out what we started out the show with, I had a flat Earth debate. If you're on Jimmy's side watching, we do a flat Earth day night. I don't know why. I thought it was a good idea at first, but why we do this, I have no idea. But the second guy didn't know what words meant, and it's just I'm just frustrated. Like, fuck people who think the Earth is flat. That's all I'm going to say.
You were so much more like not having it than I'm going to pull this up so people can kind of see. I won't necessarily put the audio on, but you were so much more upset right there at the end. Actually, let me see if I can find
argument add document.
You were just calling this guy like
miner locked up dumb fuck of the year, created a dumpster fire, made Kyle smoke.
You were just calling the dude a dumb fuck of the year. Oh, thank you, Andrea Patella, who wrote Saturday Night Sex After Flatterday Night Fight. Let me try that again. Saturday Night Sex After Flatterday Night Fight. Yes.
I was thinking of a name. By the way, we want to get some ideas from you guys about what you think our name should be, and I'm going to be first to throw my idea in the ring. There's a long-standing feud that Jimmy and I have that we'll never get over. But on Saturday nights and Sunday nights, those online or not online, but those television magazines like Dateline and Nightline. Well, I think we should call our show Hairline.
I don't mind that. That's pretty good. We will take suggestions though. Anybody who wants to put up suggestions. We will take them.
Congrats, Jimmy.
I am showing off my recession at the moment.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Your hair won. I was just told this. Your hair won or is nominated for Dumb Fuck of the Year on Red's channel.
Oh, okay.
Congratulations.
My hair was.
That is a great accomplishment.
I didn't know anyone on Red's channel knew who I was.
Speaking of, let's go into your other great accomplishment this week.
I just broke 10,000. This is kind of a celebration stream for me. I just broke 10,000 subscribers over on my channel. Actually, things are going really friggin' good too, because like I broke 10,000 yesterday morning, and I am now that's my live count up there right now, 12,188. I have these goals in mind of like little things I like to do, and one of them was I wanted to have one day where in a single day I got at least 1,440 subscribers, because that is that averages out to a subscriber a minute. And so I did that today, and now I'm just going to burn the whole thing down. So this is the last you'll see of me. I am going to go live in, oh, of course, the subscribers, because the live thing is on. All right, let's
This is why you
that.
never put you never put that on the screen ever.
It's 0132 doing it, by the way.
I actually get happy when I see that. I tell people all the
who-
time, don't subscribe.
There, you're doing yourself better. But yeah, so that was my week. It's been a fun week.
Congrats.
Yeah, it's felt amazing. Thank you all so much.
We usually talk about one thing that I do want to keep going through is one of our, like, we pick a show each week that we go back and we kind of talk about, how it went or what it was about. So the one that I picked for this week was the debate that we had last night with Destiny and Ian Miles Chung over free speech. And this debate went all over the place. And Jimmy, I'd be interested to hear your opinions on the various topics that we hit, because we literally went from freedom of speech to Trump to PC culture to we were hitting them all. But there was one part in there that I wanted to ask you a question. Destiny asked Miles a very pointed question, and it was, I'll just ask you, should swatting someone be illegal? Should the act of calling and falsely reporting, getting people swatted, should that be illegal?
I am inclined to say yes, but isn't it already kind of illegal?
Yeah, but this is just a parallel. It's a parallel point, because the next question is going to make sense whenever I ask you why I asked that question. I thought it was weird too how he set it up, but that's how he led it off to it. The second part of that question is the act of doxing someone, should that be illegal?
That one is a super complicated thing for me. I think there are lines. However, I'm inclined to say no, even though I don't think I don't know that there's something I think that is like a bigger dick move as far as social media and stuff goes than doxing somebody. But as far as should it be illegal, I don't know on what grounds to make it illegal, and that's the hard part.
Well, here was his point, and I would have said the same thing that you're saying right now prior to this too, but when he said this yesterday, it made a lot of sense. The reason that he drew the parallel between swatting is it's basically the same thing. You're putting information out there that could potentially get someone hurt. Now, in the act of swatting, the potential for them to get either caught up in something, they may have something in their hand, like a controller, the police think it's a gun or whatever, and you get shot. Doxing, the same thing. The wrong person might get that information and decide to do something, harmful or nefarious with it.
Right. So swatting's a little different, though. With swatting, you have the intent of activating a SWAT team, plus you're basically doing the equivalent, if not exactly doing the equivalent, of filing a false police report. So, like I said, it's pretty hard. This one's hard for me. Swatting, I think there's that clear distinction. First of all, swatting. You are activating people with assault rifles, storming into your house in a very highly tense situation, and they are trying to neutralize whatever situation they are reported there to do. And in that regard, that's almost attempted murder.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so that's...
I think we agree there.
The doxing side is the hard one. I think there definitely should be rules for doxing. I definitely would want to see YouTube, Facebook, Twitter all say lifetime permaban if you dox somebody.
Sure.
That's the private side of it. But I don't know. And real quick, I have another super chat. €3 from the Legend of Ida. Wanna bang? Do I want to beg Ida? Ida and I are very close for people who.
Hi, Ida.
I mean, if everybody wants to send $3 super chats in asking me if I want to bang, I will read every one of them. Kyle and Ida both adore each other, frankly. And I see that Shannon is apparently over on your channel. Way to support the little guys there, Shannon.
Yeah. She that's because she's like this. That's my homegirl. We're starting a church together. I'll explain that in a second. But I have one follow-up question, just to piss off one of my mods. Should you be allowed to punch Nazis?
Damn it. Okay, so you asked me this because you saw my post, right?
No.
Okay.
This is me and Smitty have been going back and forth about this ourselves. I didn't know you made a post about it.
I did a while back, and it got some traction because Matt Dillahunty thought I was serious and replied to it, and it was just kind of, come on, Matt. So what happened was I had watched Indiana Jones, and I just wrote something along the lines of, just a friendly reminder, it's cool to punch Nazis. And then these two people who I know listen to like Alex Jones, and one of them's really like alt-right and stuff, starts coming in and do like, no, that's bullshit, blah, 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 blah. And it was like, it's illegal, that's assault. And I just kept replying like, I didn't say it was legal. I said it was cool. It's cool to punch Nazis. The actual, true, honest from me on the record now, you shouldn't punch Nazis. There is actually a statement that I have heard that is defensible in the direction of violence toward Nazis. I don't quite adhere or subscribe to it, but I got to tell you, Vandy, you're over on the other chat.
Good evening. That is all. Welcome back to the home team, Vandy.
So the best defense I ever heard of punching Nazis is that historically the opportunity to defeat Nazis without violence failed, and it took violence to defeat Nazism. However, I don't think that actually speaks to, because it's not a mainstream belief or anything. Ida's giving you money now too. Jesus.
The Legend of Ida says, "Don't feel left out, Bay." Oh, thank you, Bay.
She gave you the same amount. That means she loves us exactly the same.
Oh, you can just feel the anger from yes. Give me more, Jimmy. More anger.
Feed me. So
you know what?
I don't think you should punch Nazis.
I don't care if a Nazi gets punched. That's
okay.
That's
that's
fine.
not what you asked me. You didn't ask me whether I care. You asked should it be legal. I don't think the way to win any battles.
No. I misspoke then. I don't think that's a question. You know, whether it's illegal. I mean, it is assault. You can't get around that. You know
right.
what
It is absolutely assault.
It is absolutely assault. But should that be an acceptable? How can I phrase this? Should that be an acceptable thing in society? One that we kind of just just hey, he got punched. That's okay.
My default is always win wars with ideas and facts, but I'm not going to encourage anybody to go punch a Nazi. Hi, Shannon. Love you. I'm not going to encourage anybody to go punch a Nazi. Have I watched the video of Richard Spencer getting punched in the face over and over and over again? Yes, and I had a massive boner during it. So I don't know. I don't know if I've ever been harder.
Good. That's good. No, Arson Tony. Are you gonna Arson Tony? Where are we at with that challenge? Are you gonna hold up the end or not? Let me know in the live chat. Mines wants to know. So yeah, that's all that I have.
I disagree with Arson Tony as well. Punching a Nazi does not put you on equal ground with them, because I have not tried to. I am not advocating for the genocide of Nazis. But I'm not hurt by the bruised faces of Nazis.
Yeah, sure. I agree with that. It is absolutely legal. I asked that.
Whoa, Vandy, you're just a wonderful person. Apparently Vandy was rectifying the mistake. Vandy for $50 has written, "'Twas a simple mistake. I would never intentionally give Kyle anything."
Back on the shit list you go, Vandy. Back on the shit list you go.
I'd intentionally give him whatever's causing the burning sensation down there. That was mean. That was too mean. That was a line. I crossed the line.
I didn't even get you off the shit list to put you on the good list long enough, Vandy. At least wait like 15 minutes.
Vandy is the official sponsor of today's episode. If you want to plug anything, Vandy, just put it in the thing and I'll read it out.
Go ahead and say his hair. We know Vandy.
I don't have hair plugs. What are you trying to say?
So yeah, that's all. That it was a great debate. You should check it out if you haven't seen it yet. They had a fireworks meeting the first time that they came together, and it didn't end very well. But this one, they actually wound up walking away, pretty much agreeing on a lot of things. I was really surprised. It was a good conversation.
What is your position then? I mean, you kind of hinted at it, but I'd like to hear it like articulated in a complete sentence. What is, and thank you, Legend of Ida for 7 more euros. You know you're my favorite. You're my favorite too, Ida. What would you say in response to the question? We both know it's illegal. Should we encourage society? Should we encourage society when confronted with Nazis to resort to violence?
Not when you phrase it that way. No.
Okay.
Now, is it something that I'd be completely fine with and smile at it? Absolutely. I get joy out of, like you said, the Richard Spencer video. I'm not an advocate by any means of any kind of violence or actively seeking out to go and create a situation. But when you have somebody like with the Richard Spencer video that's just saying egregious shit, and you see somebody just rock off and knock him across the face, then good on him. I think that's what you get.
There's one thing, and I've seen this studying incels, studying the alt-right. One thing that I would worry about if society found that was too encouraged to do that is basically like, it's kind of like the way Christians get off feeling persecuted, and it makes them more Christian. But like you see a lot of, in the incel and alt-right community, a lot of people who were just looking for somebody and globbed onto that community. All it was that was a community that would accept them, and all you had to do was mutually hate. And so that's not a good idea. But I totally understand that the enjoyment I get out of watching Richard Spencer punched in the face. Actually, you know what? This is an important distinction too. I do get enjoyment watching that video. However, there was another video that came out shortly thereafter of a guy who was wearing a Nazi symbol, looked like the kind of guy who didn't have any friends. I mean, you can kind of tell he's that person, and he got knocked the fuck out like right outside of a subway. And that one I didn't like because that was a nobody. And there's something there, I can't defend it, but there to me is a big difference between punching the leader of a Nazistic movement who is building up that and is likely responsible for violence by recruiting people to it, and the guy who he himself didn't throw a punch, he himself is advocating for really shitty things, but I think was only a Nazi because of the community. So I will say there is a difference there for me, but don't ask me to defend it today. If I need to defend it later, I will do my due diligence and make sure that I have a really good answer.
I see where you're coming from, and as much as I would like to give an idealistic answer like, oh no, we shouldn't ever, this should never be a thing that happens. To me, when you knowingly put on a symbol and you go out in public, and that symbol represents 6 million people that were gassed, taken from their homes.
There was a lot more besides,
the terror that was inflicted on these people, and you knowing that, put that moniker on your person to display like you're proud of it, then you get punched. I'm sorry, I cannot muster any sympathy or any type of nothing, but that's what you get for what happens when you do that.
You and I have talked about this before with other stuff. Do you remember, like, because I default to pity in a lot of cases with uber religious people, with incels, with alt-right, even with racists, with homophobes, I am very quick to feel sorry for people and sort of recognize that their shit upbringing and their shitty view on life, that their life, it's not even a matter of their life. They just kind of genuinely suck. Like, that person actually sucks. And that's kind of a bummer. And so I default to pity pretty fast, and that might be why the big difference.
It is a bummer, but you don't compound on either poor social skills or the lack of being able to get out and make friends by then putting on the number one symbol of hate and walking out in public. I just think that's a move that you consciously make, and you know what you're doing when you do that. Like when you put on a swastika, you know what comes with that swastika, and you have to take whatever comes with that. And part of that is going to be these type of reactions from the public. And I just, I have no sympathy for anybody that puts on a swastika. Isa wants me to read this. Are you an advocate of hardcore dick sucking violence? Depends on what mood I'm in, really.
Okay, I have a question.
If I have tequila, maybe I could get down for that.
Vandy004. I pity the fool, Mr. Ray. Vandy has the privilege of having all of his things read out tonight for his very generous contribution. Don't try and make me say anything embarrassing. So since we're talking about the subject, this conversation has come up a few times in the last week for me with different people. How do you feel about bondage?
You talking about like as a whole, or me personally?
Getting tied up, handcuffs.
But how do I feel about other people doing it, or me personally?
Start with that. So we'll start with: do you want to be bonded? Do you want to be bound? Do you like binding?
Not generally. No, I'm not. I'm claustrophobic, number one, and I don't like that feeling of not being at least a little bit in control, I guess. Like that, if something were to happen, or I was tied somewhere and couldn't get out. It stems from when I was in middle school, I think, and I was in part of the theater class, and we were doing this play where one of the character that I was playing, I had to get put in a trunk. It was like one of those big closed trunks, right. And so I got put in there, and the lid closed, and you know how kids are, they fuck with you or whatever, and they weren't letting me out. Like I was trying to get out, they wouldn't let me out, and I was almost panicking. And I think ever since then, I've had a fear of being in any kind of situation where I can't get out if I needed to, and so it's just not been something I've ever been into personally. Yeah. But I don't have a problem with other people doing it.
I've got some stuff from my past where it's just like I don't even like not having. So this is because you mentioned like the not feeling like you can escape feeling, which is another one that's also like really bad for me, which is to the point that I don't like taking public transportation or being driven by anybody else or being somebody else's ride. I legitimately like to only go places with my own car. I don't like, because otherwise I feel like I don't have, and yes, it was a very left field change, but the conversation has come up for a few different reasons this week. And so for me personally, I don't want to be bound. Now, I'm very much an advocate for positive sexuality. Any sex that is consensual and enthusiastic is positive sex. So if people want to bind each other or be bound or whatever, I'm totally not casting judgment on that. Sure. The hard part is like on my end, in response to the request to bind somebody, I feel like I would just look so foolish. Like besides, I mean, handcuffs are easy, but yeah, I'd look like I was, I don't know. Just
think with me is like, I don't need like, people have different kinks or whatever, but I just don't need that extra layer. I don't need, I enjoy having my hands free to wander. It serves me no purpose for them to be, tied behind my back. So I get it that people want to do that, and more power to them. Like Christy says that I can do the tying up and she'll be the tyee. I'm all for that. Absolutely all for that.
That's it could be fun. Yeah. The Vandy wrote, and I said I'd read everything from Vandy. I don't actually know All he wrote was non sequitur. Non sequitur. I think he's just trying to remind you. Oh, this is a non sequitur. What we're doing now. I thought he was just trying to remind you that he's there, that he's over here right now.
Or that I forgot the name of my show.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Since we're going into controversy, let's just throw the most controversial thing. Certainly, I've heard since doing my show. It came up last night too. Destiny, the thing that Destiny and Miles fought over so bitterly the first time, and the first time it was on Destiny's channel, so you have to go there to watch it. But Destiny did an interview with a guy named Amos Lee. Do you know who Amos Lee is?
No, and Vandy wrote, "Kink shaming is my kink." That's very funny.
That is funny. Amos Yee is he's a guy that he's pretty terrible. Let me put it that way. He thinks that people should be able to enter in a sexual relationship with children as long as it's not forced. It's shitty. Now, what the controversial thing that stemmed off of that conversation with Destiny and Ian was that Destiny had seen a report that I'm trying to think because I don't want to screw it up like totally, but basically the long story short is existing child pornography in a supervised setting with people who are pedophiles can be used to sort of stifle off those urges. So the debate was,
oh, I'm so ready for this one.
Yeah, so not introducing new child pornography, but using what is in the current currently out there.
Yeah. No.
Should that be an example? Should that be done?
Absolutely not. And thank you to Shannon, because Shannon actually, I was in a debate on the Non Sequitur Discord actually once about whether or not we're not even talking about child pornography of real humans. We're talking about simulators. Could computer simulators, pornography, video games be acceptable? And it was myself. There was one other individual. Oh, Jammy, but he just listened. Jammy was on my side. And then Shannon came in and just dropped the fucking mic on these people, because they were all talking about like, well, what if that simulator is stopping them from going out? And Shannon had talked about and put very elegantly this idea of diminishing returns. So it might stop you the first time, it might stop you the second time, and then the third time it's not quite enough, but you still don't go out. And then the fourth time it's even less not enough, and then the fifth time it's less not enough.
Like drugs.
Yeah, exactly. It is a diminishing return. It's something that happens in the brain. You need it more and more each time. The only thing I think that we should be advocating for is therapy, not let's give them some. Now what that therapy looks like, I don't know yet. I mean, I don't even know if we have a good method. I hate to sound callous because of how terribly this was used, but if a person had urges so strong that they felt like they weren't going to be able to help but act on them, I would say those people should voluntarily chemically castrate themselves.
No, definitely.
But what you do if there's something else in the meantime, yeah, I mean, so not a complicated, I wouldn't even call this controversial. There is no version of do we give them a little kiddie porn that I think is remotely worth entertaining, the idea. If there are solutions to this, otherwise, that's not
agreed. We agree here, but there are people who make the case that is so, and that's what Destiny and Ian were so contentious about, because Destiny was saying, I've got the papers, I've got the research, I've got the studies behind this, and I think it's just one of those things that, sure, you might have a study that says that's the case, but I don't think that is. It's like you were saying. Eventually, it's going to be where it's just not feeling that need. It's just not. It's the same progression, I think, with people who usually become murderers. A lot of the times, you hear them starting out with animals. They start out with small animals, and first it starts out with torturing, then it goes to killing animals, and then it graduates to people. So it's just why you would make that a study, I don't understand in the first place. It's beyond me. That child pornography needs to be destroyed. It shouldn't even be a thing that still exists.
Right.
Not locked up somewhere.
Esso Lycan mentioned that the case that Destiny talks about is using during the course of therapy to stop urges. No, if during the course of therapy you need something like that, then you need to be in a jail cell during it, or
I agree.
Whatever similar. That's just there's no acceptable, and I don't think of the like. Well, it's past porn, so we're not hurting anybody new. First of all, you don't actually know that, and second, it will create markets for new. It'll create not those markets already exist, but
think about the kids though. Like you're knowingly distributing pictures of kids to guys that get a sick, twisted kick out of that. Like that goes against everything that I think you should be about. That's just backwards in every single way. Don't expose the kids like that. Burn it.
This episode has no chance at being monetized beyond our super chats, by the way.
Definitely not.
It's out the door. Vandy wrote castration, I think, in support of the suggestion of what to do.
Yeah, I'm aware, Iso, that the child porn needs to be around for evidence, but there needs to be a time period that once that if the case is over and done with, that it needs to be gotten rid of. There's no sense to have that sitting around on a shelf somewhere for God knows what can happen. Tornado hits the building, and then you have people running all over the place, and then before you know it, there's child porn everywhere. There's just so many things that can happen. Lock it down until it's time to get rid of it, and then get rid of it. But sure.
Shannon wrote out the a little bit more about you desensitize once dopamine deflates to normal levels. At that point, you're perpetuating an addiction that can no longer be satisfied instead of abating it. And someone also asked, what if a pedophile has never fucked any kids? And that is where I am we should be, in general, this country very much needs to fix its perception of therapy and counseling and stuff. Therapists should be compassionate, and a person shouldn't feel afraid to go and talk to somebody. But there needs to be reasonable things there too, much in the way that there are reasonable boundaries. If I go to a therapist and I say, I really am sure I'm going to murder my brother, at that point, that is the person who talks to me in a safe way to try and get those feelings abated, but also is going to make sure my brother ends up protected.
Right. I agree.
Yeah, Vandy writes, there's a big difference between a child molester and a pedophile. Pedophilia is a diagnosable disorder, which is true. As far as I know, anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, my default is always start with compassion, but the moment you act on it, kind of like Kyle's and Nazis, I don't have much compassion left at that point.
Why not the same argument for pot as a gateway to hard dope? I don't buy that. I think that my brother, like, there's so many people. This is anecdotally, of course, but I know so many people that just can smoke marijuana. They don't want to do anything harder than that. It's the same reason that people can. There's some people that can drink and have a couple beers and be fine, and then there's some people who, when they drink, they have to have the entire bottle of vodka, and they just go completely crazy. It depends on the person's
You're also talking about you're talking about totally different experiences in chemicals. So like marijuana, people who are enthusiastic about marijuana, if it's a gateway to anything, it seems to be a gateway to better marijuana, not a gateway to I've done
and Funyuns
everything. Like I've tried everything. I can't drink anymore. I'm also clean. I'm clean and sober, but I actually can't drink anymore. I could smoke weed if I wanted to. I live in Denver. It's very accessible here. I don't, but if there is something I'm going to take that's mind altering, it's marijuana. I have never, ever, and sure, this is anecdotal too. I already talked about how these are different chemicals, different experiences. Smoking weed never makes you want to do coke. It's like
Yeah,
it's
yeah. It makes you want Funyuns, and you drive slow. Those are the
yeah.
worst two worst things. Now, Tony Lambert said that pot is no different than alcohol. I could not disagree with that statement more than I do. That pot is in no way
Yeah.
anything anyway like alcohol. No
Alcohol
way.
is chemically addictive. Dr. Zayas, no, I haven't tried direct heroin, but I've done a number of opioids. Um, but no, yeah, the alcohol is chemically addictive. Marijuana
Right.
is not.
You can die from getting becoming an alcoholic and then stopping drinking. Your body gets so used to that just taking a day off. I mean, I've had friends that their family puts them in an ultimatum, not knowing the ramifications for stopping cold turkey, and they've attempted to do that and barely got out of it.
Now, I think marijuana can be behaviorally addictive, if you know what I'm saying. Like,
Sure.
you can be hooked on, but it doesn't mean that you are because I haven't done heroin. Apparently, I'm a pussy. Anyway,
You got to commit.
yeah, I
You gotta
know.
commit.
I know. I think you can become addicted to lots of behaviors and lots of lifestyles. And I've definitely met people. The difference is I know people who are, in a very behavioral sense, addicted to smoking weed. If tomorrow I take all of their weed away and I don't let them touch it for a week, like I keep them isolated and fed and watered and stuff, they'll get depressed, they'll get upset, they'll get anxious, they'll get jittery. They won't start to die. You do the
Right,
same
yeah.
thing with an alcoholic, they literally start to die. And that's a
Right.
huge, huge difference.
And let's go ahead. Let's point out too. We did a weed debate on our channel between SJ and RM Huffman and Frankie and Bran. And one of the things that there are 2 points to this. Number one, she was trying to raise the point that crime is exploding across this country, and this seems to be a wrong narrative by the right likes to play this in scare tactics.
Yeah.
Where actually crime is declining majorly, and I pointed out that in Colorado, you would think her points were that weed it fosters crime. You got drug dealers going around everywhere. If you make weed legal, that's going to heighten and increase the crime. But actually,
Nope.
crime rates in Colorado plummeted when they legalized marijuana. They plummeted. And number two, I said this as a joke during that debate. And to her credit, SJ actually came back and tagged me and let me know that it was actually true. But you actually, when you're intoxicated and you're driving, she was saying that you get in more wrecks and you cause more car damage. And I made the joke, well, no, you probably just drive too slow. That is true. There is not more wrecks happening with people who are on marijuana. There are more tickets being written because of slow driving when they're high.
I definitely
So
won't.
I fail to see a problem here.
I definitely won't advocate for driving while high. I know with
course,
I
of
think there are
course.
a lot of people who it makes no difference. I would even say that in certain high states I've been in the past, I probably would have been a safer driver than normal. However, I think it entirely, I wouldn't say entirely, but it severely reduces your ability to drive defensively, to react quickly and stuff. So somebody's starting to swerve into your lane, that kind of thing. I think that's I definitely
Yeah.
think you're still impaired when you smoke weed.
I'm amazed at how quickly the country has sort of flipped on that, because I remember even being when I was in high school, it was marijuana was a big thing. It was if you had it, it was oh, he's got marijuana. Now
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just like everybody that is smoke. Even the states that it's not legal in, everybody's
John Boehner is one of the
Yes.
head advocates
Yes.
for weed. That's
yes.
bananas.
If you want to see a Republican, if you want to see a Republican's true colors, dangle some money on a fishing
Yeah.
line in front of him, and you'll see what a Republican's really made out of. Because how many years did he go up and chastise marijuana and the drug war and all this other kind of stuff? The moment he got out of there, and you know what? for the however many years he was Speaker of the House, you never saw that man smile one time. He would cry a lot, but you never seen him smile. You want to see what John Boehner looks like now? Google him. He's got the biggest shit-eating grin on his face.
Just a happy, happy man now. Hey, I used to live in Wyoming myself. We had someone write that they live in Wyoming and everyone smokes weed, and that's true. But
there's like 8 people that live in Wyoming, though.
There's more than you realize. There's so I lived in Cheyenne a while, and I went to school in Laramie and lived in Laramie for a while. Laramie is where the University of Wyoming is. And basically every weekend, anybody who wanted to go have fun went to Colorado instead.
Oh, modern day. Let me do something impromptu, and don't let me put you on the spot. Modern day hysteria. I actually heard Paul ask a question the other day to SJ, and it has stuck with me for like all week long. And I actually asked some Christians in RCA's hangout last night, and the question, I think, is just the most powerful question I've ever heard asked in my life. And modern day hysteria, if you're not doing anything and you want to come in and let me, I'm totally putting you on the spot here, but let me ask you this question and see what you think. Let me know. If not, we can do it some other time. But I have a really deep question that I heard Paul ask that, to me, I don't think there's an answer to. I really don't. I think it's unanswerable.
I'm ready for it.
Oh, you want me to ask it now? Okay. Well, basically,
what do you do? Yeah, it's like, where's this going?
Oh, I was gonna bring in what's his face, Modern Day Hysteria. He's watching. He's By the way, I love your channel, Modern Day Hysteria. The discussions that you do, I think, are great, and you're fair, and people should check it out if they haven't already. But okay, so here's the question, and this is what Paul posed to SJ, and I'm gonna be paraphrasing it, but. He said that he's really close with his mother, right? And when it's time for him to go to hell, her to go to heaven, she's going to be in heaven without him, right? Okay. It's going to bother her not to have Paul in heaven with her. Okay? 2 things. Is the no sorrow in heaven thing true? And if that's the case, that means that somehow God makes his mother forget that Paul is in hell, or forget that she had a son altogether, because she can't have that memory. She can't know that she's separated from Paul. So does he wipe her memory clean or whatever? And is that really her then? Or 2, does she spend eternity knowing that her son is burning in hell, and she has to spend an eternity knowing that? And to me, I think that's the greatest question that I have heard an atheist ask a Christian.
I think if you were speaking to a genuine apologist who went totally all the way up the wall with it, I actually don't think they would have a problem with it. And so I want to give you what I think would be real Christian apologetics, and then I can give you Mormon apologetics, because Mormons are ready to answer this one instantly. Sure. A real Christian apologist, I think, would say that once we die, much in the way that your marriage is annulled, it's till death do you part. In the grand scheme of things, people who were important to you in your real life are not. You're now facing eternity. You now have the knowledge of whatever that means, and I don't think they think that when you die, your mother is still your mother and your son is still your son. Now, Mormons.
So it's not you.
Basically, they won't give a shit. Yeah, it's basically going to be, and actually the Bible says you're going to be delighted to see the people in hell.
Now, do you see where that raises a problem, though?
So
where that raises a
yes, I mean, I think it's stupid, but Mormons will go with. So this is straight from my seminary teacher. Mormons believe not in a literal hell. There is technically something where you can choose to go and basically be isolated forever, and that's like the worst version of hell. But they believe in different layers of heaven, and even Hitler goes to at least the bottom level of heaven and may have a chance to repent and get to the top level still. That part's still unclear. It isn't unclear, though, that the Mormon Church has had proxy baptism done for Hitler dozens of times now. Anyway, they have levels of heaven, and basically they've said if you are in the bottom level of heaven and you can tell how amazing what you missed out was, because you're now not exalted, you're not becoming a god yourself. You'll still love this paradise you're in, but the knowledge that you didn't make it all the way to the top layer of heaven is in and of itself hell. Now, those people who are in the top level of heaven, so like my dad must think he's going to be in the top level of heaven and I'll be in the bottom level because I'm an atheist and I have been speaking out against the church so much. He will be allowed to come and visit me anytime he wants. I can't visit him, but he can visit me. So that's how Mormons would handle that.
Well, we all know, I think we can all agree that Mormons are, that's just batshit crazy. It's never going to happen. If we're gonna, I mean, objectively, if we're gonna weigh which things are possible, which religions are possible, that's going to be way down on the list with Jehovah's Witnesses and Scientology.
Mormons just think they're reasonable because all of these like super hypotheticals people have, sure. Mormons actually try to answer and have an answer that pleases everybody.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the key there. It's pleasing. That's a very nice thought, and so more people are going to want to subscribe to that. But if you go with the oldest and the the more widely accepted, then it's not that way. You're going to be in two completely separate places. So to me, I just think that if it's a wipe on away thing, or you're not aware of like who you had here on this earth and in this life, that's not really you. I mean, you're just a brainwashed zombie.
But isn't it already not you? Because the description of heaven is you will spend eternity praising God, studying the Bible, and singing. I don't want to do any of those now. And I know most religious people don't want to do any of those now. So it must be that if this was real and you died, when you die, you would be a totally different person for that to all be good.
Oh, dear God, hearing godless wankers talking about the afterlife is the most fucked up thing I think I've ever heard. Actually, we're discussing the most fucked up thing that you've ever heard. What you follow is the most fucked up thing that we've ever heard. We're just talking about it.
I'd actually say the most fucked up thing I've ever heard was an all-good God advocating for slavery, making rape okay in specific instances, telling parents how to sell their children.
Homophobia.
Genocide, homophobia, yeah, that's a good one.
Misogyny, rape, incest, cannibalism. Should we continue, Ross?
We
can do this all night.
So far, Ross, this hasn't even made it to my top 10. So
when you die, you're no longer a person. LOL.
It sounds like that he does agree with my assessment that a Christian, you don't care about the same things you used to care.
Yeah. Here's the thing, though. I think more people get their sights set on heaven out of fear for not having to burn for eternity, and not a genuine willingness to want to go to a place where they're going to be praising and singing and around their Aunt Kathy for eternity. You know, everybody has an Aunt Kathy. Nobody wants to spend eternity with an Aunt Kathy. It's the fact that they don't want to burn for all of forever that keeps them their eyes set on the above.
Yes. By the way, they did surgery on a grape. I would like to. We should make a sketch of like heaven and all these people singing, and you see God there, and he's just listening, and every now and then you hear somebody rickrolling instead of singing Hallelujah. Just like, oh, we're no strangers to love. Hey, who was that? Who did that? You know the rules, and so do I.
Not again.
Who? I could never figure out who's doing that.
While we're on the religion, Ross, explain to me the Trinity. I've asked this question 3 times this week between the guests that we've had on the show, and I cannot get a grasp on what the Trinity is. Are they all the same person? When Jesus dies on the cross, is he saying, myself, why have I forsaken myself? Or is he talking to a separate entity? Like, who is he talking to? Is it himself, or is it a completely different entity?
So while Ross is answering, I'm going to go back to Mormons, and this technically is some other sects. I can't say sext without sounding like I'm saying sex. Other branches of Christianity. Mormons believe that God is a distinct, different body of bones, by the way, like a human body man. His first son was Jesus, also has a body now that he's been resurrected. His second son was Satan. They fight over whose plan is going to get done. That's how Satan becomes the devil.
There's a plot twist.
Yeah, big old plot twist. And the Holy Ghost is a final separate entity that we don't know much about, but is basically an angel with the ability to be everywhere all the fucking time, and just acts like a magic a telephone line between you and God. And so the Holy Ghost technically will be, because Mormons believe the main reason we are having this earth life is we have to get a body, and then we die, and then it's resurrected into perfection, which also doesn't make any sense since most of the cells in your body are replaced by the time you're dead. And cells in your body right now, we're definitely in cells in other people's bodies in the past. But anyway, I digress. You have to get a body. So the Holy Ghost will actually be the last human to be born, because he will be the last one in need of a body.
We are all the Trinity living within the womb of the Divine Mother. Okay, you're not real. Okay.
Mormons believe in a mother too, and a God. Yeah, but believe God has a wife.
All
actually,
Trinity
wives
living in the womb of the. Okay, so here's my question to the Satan thing. This is an interesting point. If you take a look honestly at Satan, right? What has he really done that's so tragic?
In the Mormon religion,
evil?
he's the good guy, but they hate him for it. In the Mormon religion,
he wants to give you knowledge. He's the guy that said, "Hey, God knows something that he's hiding from you. Go check it out over there, that tree." He
also wanted to create humans without the ability to sin, so that everybody was saved. In his plan, everybody makes it to the end. In Jesus's plan, not everybody makes it to the end.
What the hell?
But their problem with it is Satan wanted to do that, but he wanted the glory for himself, where Jesus wanted to do his plan where he gets tortured to death and takes on the remission of sins and give all of the glory to God. And that's why, because God is a jealous prick.
What is wrong with people? Like,
yeah.
Let the guy have the glory. Then we wouldn't die. We wouldn't have diseases. Mm-hmm. Just because you had somebody that just want to be like, oh, it's not me. I couldn't do it all myself. That's ridiculous.
He's literally the good guy. Also, here's the other thing. God's plan is entirely dependent. This is in Christianity and Mormonism. Is entirely dependent on Satan being consistently tempting people and having hell to run for if people go there. So they're not enemies, they're partners. God's plan doesn't work without Satan. If Satan really wanted to fuck with God, like in their little betting wars they did with Job, I bet you I bet not. If Satan really wanted to fuck with God, he would stop tempting mankind and he would stop letting there be evil, because that ruins God's plan.
Can't he shut down? Doesn't it say that he's got the keys to hell? Jesus has the keys to hell, right? Can't he shut the place down anytime he wants to?
I'm gonna go down there. I'm gonna turn off their air conditioning.
Okay, there's a question that comes out of that. Could he not? Could he not say no more hell? Because he is God, and if he can't, then that means he's not all powerful. So either he's choosing to allow hell to operate as normal, and just keep burning those those rebellious motherfuckers, or he can't do anything about it. He just has to accept it. Both of those situations suck.
So a lot of Christians will say, like, well, he is going to kind of do that. He's not going to shut down hell, but after all of this is done, once God doesn't need Satan anymore, he's going to defeat Satan. But right now he needs him. What does he need him for now? Because right now Satan has to. The only reason we sin is because Satan's tempting us. So the only reason you and I bone. Okay. You know what? I'm just going to leave it like that.
Let's take that example.
Yeah.
With us boning. Who's allowing Satan to tempt us? Who's the guy that could go, you know what, Satan? Psh, no more tempting people.
But God gives us free will.
Do you see where this situation is so fucked up, everyone? Everything about it is so fucked up.
The Lord of the Rings was written much better than this. And thank you, Andreu Batella. I hope I'm saying that right. In Job, Satan is carrying out God's orders. In the Jesus story, he's the skeptic standing up to Jesus. How the fuck is he the bad guy? That's true.
Here's another good question. When Satan is finally destroyed and dies, where's he going?
Oh, so Mormons believe he just is committed to non-existence. He just doesn't
What is
exist
that?
anymore. Yeah. I mean,
Which
pretty much.
honestly, everyone, there's the nugget. There's the nugget of truth in this story.
Yeah.
He represents all of us.
Humanity.
Because that's ultimately, we're all Satan. We all get to a state where we don't. Oh, I'm getting triggered. It's so fucked up how they wrote this thing, and people don't go through it and think about, like, who put the tree in the Garden of Eden? Who put the tree there? Who said, you know what? Out of this whole entire planet where you have all of this land, I have Adam and Eve here in the Garden of Eden, and I have this tree that could cause and uproot everything, all of humanity. And I'm not going to put it on the other side of the world. I'm not going to put it up in the North Pole. I'm going to stick it right in the middle of where these two people are.
It just reminded me of this. I'm going to pull this up real quick. Give me a second.
Out of all the wrong doctrines that...
Oh, wrong one. But the tree of knowledge, like, that's another thing. He gave humans knowledge. Without Satan doing that, you're not born. Because, and by the way, for anybody who's like joining now, I don't actually believe any of the story. But by your own fucking story, they didn't even have the knowledge to bone or to recreate at that point. They didn't know how to bone. Much like most men still. But that's,
That's for sure. That is true.
Yeah.
Hello, this is Pastor...
Oh, wait. We can't see. Let me pull this up here. Did you... oh, wrong one. Did you get a chance to catch... I did a video on this guy talking about how atheists are dumb.
My lips are in the way.
Oh, damn. I was only 2 days from retirement. There we go. Okay.
Might wonder, man, I don't know how I can answer their questions, their arguments. They sound very sound. Well, in the world...
Starting out,
I just love that.
We talked about the child porn thing earlier. Now, why are you going to actively pick on a 12-year-old kid?
That's racist. You just can't. You just don't know how old Asians are.
That's ageist, if anything. It's not racist.
You just think all
I didn't say,
racists
are we
12.
talking about driving or math here?
Well, you did now. I just like that first part where they sound very...
Their arguments, they sound very sound. Well, in the Word of God, the Bible says that atheism is... There is no God. So a lot of what they argue, that sounds kind of smart. In reality...
A lot of what they argue, that sounds kind of smart. You can see the insecurity on his face. He knows...
Atheists say cover up a lot of what they argue. That sounds kind of smart. In reality, it's actually very, very foolish. And
because he can't defend it by actually presenting it as foolish, he definitely has to like assert that it's dumb. It sounds super smart and like, sure, all of the math is there. And yes, they have all of science on their side, but it's actually very, very dumb.
And yet, he has more subscribers than both of us combined.
Yeah, which is a tragedy. And I do love this about my subscribers. They have globbed on to, they really like the way I say button. So please hit that like and subscribe button if you are watching now. It's actually just the right way to say it. Button. There's 2 T's.
You heard it here, folks. This is how the left melts your mind. People now think ageism is racism. Well,
I do.
That's what we do here on this show. That's what you get on Hairline.
Yeah. That's what you get on Hairline.
Yep. We start out with free speech. We covered child porn. We've covered racism, ageism, why the Bible's fucked up. What else can we do for you people tonight? Anything else we can solve for all of you?
Let's take Ida's question last. She had put it a while back, and I want to answer that. So let me get back up to it. Oh, by the way, they did surgery on a grape. I love that meme so much. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
Okay, that's not something that you can just say and casually continue. That's one of those things that needs an explanation. It's like me, it's like me saying, well, you should have seen what happened when I cross-stitched that carrot the other day.
So I'll show you what was like funny about what it is. So scientists in testing out these robots and these micro things did surgery on a grape.
Before you go on, Jimmy, I hate to interrupt you, but I have to. Ross is chiming in again, but I need your help because me, I don't know some large words that may be a little bit too scientific for me. Can you explain to me what debunking is? Because he says that we spend all of our time debunking everyone else's opinion without actually having one. What does it mean to debunk someone?
You know what's actually important though about so debunking? That's where you get a bunk bed. That's just to start. And
I love debunking.
Yeah. Okay. You know what I'm talking about then. You got it. Debunking is awesome. But actually, I want to say in reaction to the point he was trying to make, one of the most important things a skeptic can do is spend a lot of time trying to debunk their own beliefs. And that is what I like about being a skeptic, because I don't believe anything without putting it under scrutiny. And one thing I've noticed real hard is I am most skeptical of the beliefs I have had the longest. Mm-hmm. Those are the ones that in cycles I will just go after hard.
And let me just add on to his point. These kind of questions are raised by people who have to do the thinking for you. And I can say that because I was that person. It was Orange Ross videos, Matt Dillahunty's videos. They did the thinking for me because I wasn't getting that. I was in a situation where I would go to church. I was with the same people that thought the same way that I did. Everything was peachy. There was no rocking the boat. Everything was smooth sailing. It took someone to look at it from a different perspective than I was. And then it was up to me to choose whether or not I was going to continue knowing the glaring contradictions, the glaring just factually incorrect information. You have two of those things. You have one that's factual and then one that's not. And it's up to you to decide which one of those that you're going to cling to. And there are people who can look at facts and say, you know what, I'm going to continue to go with what makes me feel good. And that's completely your right to do. But also we have the right to call out the bullshit. And that's what skeptics do. Let me read the super chat real quick, Jimmy.
Sure.
And then I'll vibrantly Brantley says, I was always taught in the end that in hell will be destroyed with the devil, and while stepping out of my faith, I convinced myself in the end I won't remember anything, so I'd be correct either way. Thanks. Okay.
So I want to explain why I love the internet. It's not that hard. So just imagine if scientists did this big kind of like actually big deal of basically use robots to very delicately remove just the skin off of a grape, put it back, and stitch it up, all with extreme precision. And it actually was an advancement in science. If you wanted to express that via a news article, what had happened, what would you title that article if you wanted to make it as underwhelming as possible? Because that's what happened, and then this happened. How do I get this to... Boom. This is my favorite meme on the entire internet. So, let me just take you through the pieces of this. There is... It starts with a title on an article that says they did surgery on a grape, which then goes on to Instagram, which says they did surgery on a grape, which has the first comment is they did surgery on a grape, which is then screen capped on, I'm trying to remember, Cheddar, they did surgery on a grape, sent through Snapchat, they did surgery on a grape, sent back to Instagram, they did surgery on a grape, and that is screenshotted to Facebook Messenger, which gets a reply, they did surgery on a grape, which makes its way to Image Flip with the title, they did surgery on a grape, which makes its way to, is that last one Reddit? I don't know what that last one. Oh, I think that's, no, it's that one that everyone terrible is on. That artists go on and then everybody awful. Do you know what I'm talking about? What is that? What is 4chan? That? No, it's an art site. It started as an art site.
DeviantArt?
Is it DeviantArt? I think it might be DeviantArt. If it's not DeviantArt, it's one other thing. I think you're right, though. I think it's DeviantArt. Just where everybody terrible is. Yeah, I think DeviantArt was.
Or
Tumblr. Tumblr is the one I was thinking of. Yeah, Tumblr. I love this meme so much. And then what I really love about it is I just showed you the picture. I got that off of a site that had it as off of Facebook, which then off to the side says they did surgery on a grape. And then let me see if I can pull this up, actually, since I have this screen up. I don't know if you all can see the first comment on this. Let me take that one down and put this one up. The first comment is that dude from South Park. They did surgery on the grape.
That's hilarious. Way to go, internet. Sometimes the internet just nails it. You have to. The best place to go to see that is Reddit. Like, once you get the hang of, it's a scary place at first. I'll tell you, it's a very frightening place. Reddit is, but once you get the hang of navigating your way through just the wave of shit that comes to you, Reddit's pretty fun.
I love Reddit. Reddit's got some great stuff. Any mood you're in, whether you want to laugh or you're horny as fuck, Reddit's there for you. Except
that they don't let you, like, you can't post the shit that you want to put out there on it. Like,
I noticed.
They get so angry.
Yeah.
Like, I get booted off of it. I get kicked out of a subreddit like at least once a day. And like, and I conform to the rules. I'm like, okay, what if I put this in a way like, here's a good example. There was a subreddit about the Mandela effect. Okay. And we did a show about the Mandela effect. So I said, okay, this is going to be great. This is perfect. This is it's straightforward. It's the Mandela effect. There's a person coming on to talk about the Mandela effect. This belongs here. So I did that, and immediately an auto mod hit me with you are in violation of rules 6, 13, and 12, and like 15 or something like that. And I go back and it's like I didn't tag whatever version of the Mandela effect is. A self-promotion because it links back to a site that has my name in the in the thing, and it's just like, what are you for? Like, why? So now I pay people to go on Reddit and do that for me.
I would just like to encourage anybody who watches my stuff, if you see a topic relevant to a subreddit you follow, feel free to share my stuff in the ex-Mormon Reddit or at Reddit Atheism. Now, I actually figured out the hack to Reddit Atheism, our Atheism. They will only let you, it's something like only a certain percentage can be from the same source or they'll ban you. So I just delete my past post if I go in and I put another one. But it's a lot to keep track of. So
I got banned from Today I Learned.
The self-promo rules are ridiculous in a lot of those.
It is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I got banned from Today I Learned because my title said, "Today I learned that flat earthers shouldn't breathe the same air that we do," as a joke,
In my fucking feed, Ida is offering to show her titties if people will hit the like button.
Can I? Does that count for me too? Can I go over there and like his? Can I like his feed as well?
I think so.
Put me in on that.
I'm sorry if it turns out to just be like some parentheses with some periods.
No, that's not good. No.
I mean, how do you show your titties in a live chat? That doesn't.
I will
seem
call
reasonable.
I will call the FCC about false advertisement.
Troy says he watches my video, but not my stuff. Okay, final question. Or unless you had another one, I've got one last question to go out on. If you're good with it, Ida had asked prior, would you eat human if it was ethically sourced? So let's go with like the way they clone meat. You don't actually get it off of a human. You just get cloned thigh. Would you try it?
Why would you? No.
I don't know if I would.
No, absolutely not. Not when there's. Look, you can get a New York strip. It's mouth-watering.
Way cheaper than human.
Why would I have thigh when I have a New York strip or a filet mignon? Why? Like now is this a situation where for some reason all the animals disappear and all we have is thigh to Jimmy to eat? Then yes. But can you imagine getting little fried thighs at Kentucky Fried People?
It's Soylent.
No, I wouldn't eat.
It's Soylent.
No,
KF
I would not eat. You didn't answer that question.
I don't know. I definitely don't think I could see myself having like a sandwich of it or something. But if someone was like, "Hey, we cloned this. We're done with it. We were thinking about cooking it up, and everybody could try a piece of fried person." Yeah, like studying or something. I don't know. Maybe they're banging it. Who knows what they're doing?
Why?
I don't know if I'd try it or not. Like, I'm really excited for cloned meat because veal is delicious, but it's disgusting, and so I don't eat it. It's disgusting how they source it. all beef should be the equivalent of veal because it will be all muscle that has never ever had any tension. So I'm really excited for clone meat for that reason.
No, absolutely not. No. I don't think it. And you know what? It may not be a taste thing or a health thing. It's just the mental thing of you're eating. Either the cells came from a person. It originated somehow in a person, and you're eating that person.
See, to me, that's not the mental block. The mental block is it's just gross. So, like, I would accept going in that I would now know the flavor of it. I would now know what it tastes like, and I would expect to throw up because of the mental stuff. But keep in mind, like, Fear Factor got canceled because people were drinking, wasn't it like a pint of donkey cum in their last episode? Like a pint, it might have been a liter of donkey cum. And that to me is infinitely like way more gross. I think I could take a bite of human ethically sourced before I could drink donkey cum.
Now donkey, let's specify that. Now I'm the opposite here. Now if it's a gallon of human, I'm sign me up. I'm totally for that. But if it came down, if somebody was like, I'm going to shoot you if you don't eat a piece of this, cloned human or donkey cum, then I'm going to break down and go with the human. I have a line. Donkey cum is the line, I think.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the lines. But
Vandy004 says, how many likes do we need? I have 25 accounts. So I'm not going to like talk about who the person was, but I was dating this girl a few years back, and she really, really liked cum. This is like we are never going to be monetized. This video will probably get us struck. Anyway.
Oh yeah.
You know how people will like say things that are really, they're trying to like be sexy and stuff? Well, after we had finished and she swallowed what was in her mouth, she looked at me and said, I wish I could drink a big glass of that every morning. That is the least sexy thing I have ever heard in my life. That was straight up gross.
Maybe we were right. Maybe I'm clairvoyant or something like that. But maybe the thumbnail for this particular episode sums up both channels after that.
I think we got all of YouTube canceled.
I'm not really sure how to. I mean, you can't top that. So might as well just hit the closeout button.
Thank you all for watching.
But before we go, like always, we like to go around and give your favorite channel that you want to plug. Jimmy, you want to start us out and let us know who you want to plug?
Conspiracy Cats. Love Conspiracy Cats. Can't get enough.
Good choice.
Yeah.
Good choice.
What about you?
I'm gonna go with PewDiePie. He's probably
he needs it.
I'm just kidding. I'm gonna go with. I'll go with Fight the Flat Earth. He's very very brash. I kind of like that.
What you got going on tomorrow?
A lot of acid and donkey gum.
Oh yeah, by the way, someone on my end pointed out, well, at least used this word. The worst word for that ever that people came up with was cummies. Begging for my daddy's cummies. Ugh.
Who says that? That's not nobody.
I started with a fake gag and I ended with a real gag. I got
no
so
one says
grossed
that.
Oh, dude, it was all over my news feed for a while. People saying that stuff.
What news feed who's in your news feed?
Because of my job, I've worked with a ton of cosplayers, so there's a lot of anime weeb trash in my Facebook feed.
I also want to. I think for me.
By the way, I love anime weeb trash. That wasn't dogging just because I said trash.
I also would like to plug Tau Ceti Alpha. If you have not watched the Flat Earth Full Retard Mode videos, then you have to go and see them. They are absolutely hilarious. And he's there in the live chat right now. But follow him over there at his channel and watch they're epic. So go check those out.
We have another group coming on tomorrow night to play Quiplash. That's going to be a lot of fun. Last week was a whole lot of fun. And this week we have Caitlin, Chloe, and John from Godless Engineer which I'm gonna love seeing who does better there. Shannon's gonna be there. Ariel from Fully Deconverted's gonna be there. Surus will be there, and I think Godless Cranium. I don't know if he confirmed. I don't know. The roster's all in the description. I'm probably forgetting somebody because I'm an asshole. Oh, Luxander will be there. Of course I forget Luxander. Luxander, whom I love so much. They are an amazing person. And so that'll be tomorrow. That'll be a lot of fun, too. I'm plugging
Excellent.
all of them. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay.
We'll see y'all. What did we do? Last word for you, Kyle.
Well, I'm trying. You know, you always wanted to leave out on a bang. Okay, we'll leave that on a serious note then. Let me think here. Let me get my juices going.
Oh, don't say juices after cummies. I think we have to leave it there. Okay, bye everybody.
It's not about. It's not. It's not important. It's not. It's only important to do what you love and not who loves you.